The silver market could be in for some interesting times. Hold on tight because things are about to get really crazy. Let's look around. The market has been pretty crazy so far, but what I'm about to tell you could really set things off in a big way soon. In fact, I think it could literally rock the silver market. Before we go there, I want to remind you of your channel sponsor, Summit Metals. Some of what I'm going to talk about has already been said, and I recently talked to sellers like Summit Metals about how they are feeling about it. Check out Summit Metals the next time you want to buy or sell valuable metals. There is a link in the text below. Silver has had a fun time lately. As I always do, I have to start with that because I can't be sure what the market will do next. In fact, silver is down right now as I record this film because of overnight trading. Some small changes are being made. It's been a while since we saw red numbers, but silver is down a bit, so that could go on. This video might have been made before the unification, but I still think everything I'm going to say is true because some very important things are happening and many people are warning us about them. One is called Profits Plus ID. I've talked to Mr. Coleman on this channel and he knows a lot about what goes on behind the scenes. We'll talk about that in a moment. What's going on in China is another matter. That's because China is just getting back from a holiday. Before the holiday trading season, they shut down a big ETF in China, a silver ETF. That could pretty much rock the markets when they open again in China, and it's likely that it will. Most likely it's going to happen today or tomorrow. Even though I may be wrong, I think it's an 8-day holiday. It will be here soon, though, so we should keep an eye on what's happening in the silver market with the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the futures exchange there. We're keeping a close eye on that here because what happens in China affects the rest of the world, especially when it comes to silver, which they dig a lot of. They still use and make a lot of it for things and services that we in the U.S. use, and more Chinese people are also collecting and stacking silver. That is the background for what I am going to talk about, both what is happening in China and what is happening in the United States. The SLV is the biggest and most important ETF. That child belongs to JP Morgan. We know a lot about JP Morgan from the high-profile case of fraud we talked about on this show. Almost all of the time that case was open. Well, there has been a change, and I've already talked about it. People are now long positions instead of short positions, this year and last year. That's not new, but it sets the scene for what we're seeing here. People are buying more silver, which is one reason why the prices have gone up. The shorts are getting squeezed out, and this is happening more and more as the price goes up. It's putting a lot of pressure on the market as a whole, as shown by the fact that prices are going up and that, according to this post by Bob Coleman, the cost of borrowing to short SLV shares has gone up to 9.27%, while the number of shares that can be borrowed has stayed the same. That is, it's dealing at zero or very close to zero, which is new. This is a big deal, and it basically means that the sharp rise in SLV ETF short borrowing fees since October 6th, when shares were almost no longer available to borrow, shows that these short sellers are under a lot of pressure. If we see some people taking profits here, that might give them a short-term break, but I think it will only last because of what we saw the last 2 times the market dropped. That didn't take long, it got better, and then it shot back up, made up for all of its losses, and even won some. And that's why I think the march to $50 is pretty much a given at this point. Things are going to go wrong. At that point, too, there will be some pushback, but I believe that once we get there, everything is possible since they have never been there before, for the same reason that gold did. There are new records being set all the time for gold prices. As a matter of fact, it's the only rare metal that's going up right now. Now, this rise, which we saw triple from 2.5% just a few days ago, corresponds with news that the amount of physical silver on hand is decreasing and retail demand is skyrocketing. That's also what we see from Scottsdale, another big rare metals dealer. Scottsdale Mint is getting more orders than ever before and prices are going up. And something similar did happen in February 2025. What we're seeing now is really just the start of what will happen, and that we did see that peak, and that fee, the loan fee, reached its highest point at 11.5%. But I think that did start a reaction, even though it didn't really work. A lot of people thought that the price of silver would go up, and it did. Starting the following month in March, they went up a lot. That did play a part, I think. But it's all part of the squeeze. The industrial market is putting pressure on things on a number of different levels. The things that are getting hit are industrial bars, like these 1,000-ounce bars, or raw silver bars, like these 15-kilogram bars. They also take items for delivery. When you add in the huge amounts of real silver in the LBMA and COMEX, I think what I'm about to say will literally shake the silver market to its core. It's becoming clear to more people. Yes, they are. Seeing this happen is really something else. In terms of what Scottsdale Mint is seeing, they not only sell directly to customers, but they also sell to a lot of big bullion dealers, such as Summit Metals, which is where I bought this bar as a channel sponsor. So they play a big role. That's a given. When you look at that and what's going on with these silver eagles, You can see that the prices are beginning to rise again for silver eagles. Who would have thought it? But now we are, folks. Actually, some places are paying above spot, pretty above spot, 49, and some may even be playing close to $50 for these right now, at least before this little drop we're seeing tonight. You should keep an eye out for the silver eagle coin to find out what's going on. Some people have already said that they saw huge boxes of these silver eagles sell out. Silver eagle monster boxes are gone, and a reduction in the amount of actual bullion available. That would change everything. That's one reason why the all-time high in 2011 was $49 and change. We are now beginning to see it late in this rise, and that could really drive the market through the roof. To put it another way, silver's price could go up from both ends and go well above $50 an ounce. That's something that I think could happen. Also, remember that I don't say that lightly. I might be wrong after all. Even though I'm almost ready to bet that the silver market is going through a little bit of a correction right now, I'm still sure that this will work out. At this point, there are more things working for the price of silver to go up than against it, but things will get back to normal at some point. That's assuming there isn't a deal to end the shutdown. By the way, if the shutdown ends, I think the markets will fix themselves pretty well because people will be looking for stability, or at least a little more stability than where we are now. That will make it happen. That means more people will get back into the market and maybe even stop buying rare metals for a while. We might then see it fall back and stop moving here for a while. If not for something like that, I think prices will just keep going up, though probably not very quickly. I'm still going with my new guess that silver will be worth $51 an ounce by the end of the year. I believe that is possible, and the vast majority of people are optimistic. It's not too positive for me, but it is bullish. We'll see. That being said, I believe this news, especially when it comes to hearing that borrowing fees are going up and there are no trades, should just stop. With no change in the shares, the number of shares available has almost reached zero. The fact that silver prices are going up is a pretty strong sign that we're going to have a squeeze. But that's how I feel about it. Tell me what you think in the area below for comments. There will be lots of fun times ahead. It's really cool. I really didn't think it would happen so soon. But $50 silver is very close now. That's why it's interesting. When I can't go on, it's been a crazy trip. A delivery of silver is on its way. I'll show that when it comes here. Besides that, we'll just go with the flow of things as they happen. That's all we can do. Feel free to tell me what you think in the area below. I hope this video taught you something new and interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and please rate, share, review, and subscribe.